Howdy and welcome back to the channel. I am Country Boy and I put the sass in sarsaparilla. And today we're going to be looking at Spider-Man, but without his mask, and Alistair Smythe, the Spider Slayer. That's right, we're going to be looking at the 2-pack from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Welcome to the channel. This is Whatcha Figure, and today we're going to be opening up, like I said, Peter Parker and Alistair Smythe from the old cartoon, from the 1994 cartoon series. Obviously, it's Alistair Smythe as the Spider Slayer, and it's not him in his hover chair that he has, kind of like Professor X did. But yeah, this is kind of what you want when you have Alistair Smythe. You want the Spider Slayer one. You don't want the. You can have the hover chair one too. That would be kind of cool as well. But this is the more menacing one. This is the more figure-esque figure that I guess you could want. And we do already have a Peter Parker in this line, but that didn't really look like the guy from the series. It didn't look like Peter Parker from the cartoon. It looked more like, old school Peter Parker from the 1950s, 1960s comic books. Did he even exist in the 50s? I don't even remember when he came out. Anyways, back in the day, that's what he looked. He with the big Coke bottle glasses and everything. He didn't quite look like he did in the 1994 TV show. So this is a more true representation of that version. So I guess there's nothing left to do but to get to looking at the packaging. And here we have the packaging for Spider-Man's Smythe versus Peter Parker. So obviously you got the classic Spider-Man logo there, Marvel Comics in the corner. And you can see it's definitely evocative of the old TV show. So that's Smythe right there as the Spider Slayer, and Peter Parker from the TV show, not so much from the comic books, which is totally what I'm collecting here. This will be much better in my collection than the old Peter Parker that I got from a couple years ago. And then on the side here, you can see it's basically the same images, but just smaller versions, plus Spider-Man there. And then you can see that the images of the figures themselves, but these are just kind of renditions of them in a CG form. This isn't actually them, but it's basically what you're going to be getting. Plus a whole bunch of stuff you can read, legalities and whatnot. Go ahead and read that if you want to. And here you can see that it is the VHS packaging that they've been doing, like they did with the Carnage and the Black Symbiote Spider, and Doc Ock and Aunt May, and a whole bunch of other ones, but you get the idea. This is supposed to look like a VHS, and it looks kind of cool, but pretty soon they'll be going into the plastic packaging. So that's the sides. Here's the top. This is Spider-Man right there with Marvel, and on the bottom, just some more stuff that I am not going to read. So that's going to do it for the packaging. Nothing left to do but to get into the packaging.
Alistair's programming prevents him from harming you, regardless of what you did to his father. You see?
Take me on if you dare.
Here we are, Alistair Smythe himself, looking beefy as ever. Look at this guy. He looks pretty freaking sweet. So very, very little in terms of accessories. He just comes with these 2 extra hands, just kind of like the relaxed sort of hands, or reaching out, if you will. They're pretty plain Jane, but they do the job. They got enough detail on them, a little bit of vein work and fingernails and whatnot. So they're decent. They match the skin tone. That's what you're gonna get with those. And then you got him right here, looking like Alistair Smythe does, pretty much from the cartoon, from what I remember. Only thing that I think might be a little bit different is the pincers, or whatever you call these spikes that come off his shoulders. I'm not sure what they're called. I think they were like tubes, he would shoot lasers or something out of them in the cartoon. I don't think that was the case in the comics. I think he actually used these to spear or stab his enemies, which I understand they couldn't do that in the show. So I understand the reasoning there. So I do appreciate that they made him more of the spiky look. So maybe it's a blend of the two. It's got the spiky look and the shape and everything of the cartoon. But looking at him, he looks cool. He's got the flat top with the mullet in the back there, party in the front. Sorry, business in the front, party in the back, as they say. And then he's got the demonic yellow eyes, really scary looking guy there. Got the strong jaw like the guy has. I like the detail on the face is really well done. I'm really happy with the way this guy turned out. And then look at the body. There's not too much going on. They could have done like a dark wash or something to really accentuate the muscles and stuff. But it does look good. It looks like the guy does in the cartoon. I like that you can kind of see like the details, like the ribbing of the pincers or whatever you call these things, and then even like the fins on his arms, you can kind of see like the scaling inside there, so it's different colors, and even the scales on his legs too. Like this is cool, like the little bit of a bluish, greenish color going on there. It's not just like a straight black like his pants are. Or his pants are more of a dark blue, I should say, more of a navy blue. But yeah, let's look at the articulation while we're here. So the head has pretty good articulation. He goes back quite a ways and goes forward really well too. Like he's got really good articulation that ways. The head tilts left and right really well, and then he spins around that far. He can't spin all the way around because the mullet does get in the way of these pincer thingies. And these do not move. These are not articulated, which is something I feel like they could have done, is made these like rotate or maybe even bend, but I guess that's not really necessary. You're probably not going to have him in any other position anyways. And then the arms will go up about that far. And then he's got the bicep swivel right there. And then he's got double jointed elbows to bend all the way in like that. And then he's also got the rotation of the wrist up and down that ways. And then you can see he has himself an ab crunch right there. So he's got a pretty good crunch right there. And then back goes about that far, as you can see. And just one sec, my camera for some reason adjusted. I don't know why. So then you can do the waist swivel as well too. So that's good there. And it's gonna be the same on this side as well too. So I'm not gonna do both sides. And then let's see if we can do the splits kind of movement we got here. Oh, he's got pretty good splits. There you go. Van Damme, eat your heart out. And then he's got also the thigh cut up at the top. So that moves all the way around. And then he's got the knees, double jointed knees, a little bit stiff, but hey, they actually move quite well. He can almost kick his own butt there. And then you see those big old feet of his with those two claws going on there. What kind of movement does he have here? He's got the ballerina pose there, not too bad. And then back up. He moves up pretty good too, so you can do the full ski jumping movement there. Not too much of a rock. There's a rocker that goes that ways, but not too much the other ways, unless it's just a little bit stiff. I guess it's a little bit stiff. So there you go. It does move pretty good. So he's got pretty good articulation for this guy. He's a beefy dude, and he looks the part. He looks sickly. This color of his. But I think that might be what he was in the cartoon. He was just like a sickly looking guy, not just when he was in his wheelchair, but also when he was the Spider Slayer. Did he ever actually slay any spiders though? Was he just called the Spider Slayer because that's the name he wanted? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know why the camera had to move there. Let's try and see if we can adjust that. But that's going to do it for his articulation and his looks. Next up, we're going to look at Peter Parker.
Peter!
Dr. Octavius let me go early.
Oh, bless his heart. He did such a good job taking care of you.
He did a job on me, all right.
Well, you look pretty good to me.
Mary Jane! Don't tell me you were worried too.
Of course I was worried, Peter, about your aunt.
Okay, and here we have Peter Parker, the more updated version of him, not the older one. He looks decent, he looks like Peter Parker does, at least the clothing anyways. But let's look at his accessories first, which are these two thwipping hands, which is cool because you can have him kind of doing the thwipping pose. If you wanted to put maybe even a mask on him, you can maybe swap it with one of the other Spider-Men that I have, and that would be kind of cool. So he's got, it's pretty simple looking thwipping hands. We've seen these before with the red stuff on there. I don't know if we've ever seen bare thwipping hands before. So that's kind of neat. I like that they did that. Give him that pose ability, I suppose. Even some of the Spider-Man don't come with two thwipping hands. So there you go. You got two of them for Peter Parker. And then obviously, because his job is to take pictures for the Daily Bugle, here is his camera. It's got pretty good detail. It's got the kind of a purpley blue lens and a white flash at top there. Got the blacks and the grays going on. Looking like a camera should. I'm not too sure if this is the same camera as the other figure came with. I'm going to have to check that out and kind of see if they're the same one. If it is, it might be different colors. Maybe this one has more detail. I'm not too sure. But that's going to do it for the accessories. We'll take a look at the figure himself. Looking pretty much like Peter Parker did in the show. Maybe not quite the same, but this is definitely the best version of him I've seen in figure form anyways. He's got the hair swoop going on, the hair color. He's got the strong cheekbones, and look at those eyes, those beautiful eyes he's got there. Yeah, he definitely looks like Peter. If I was to guess who this guy was, I'd probably say this is Peter Parker. You know, Spider-Man without his mask. And then he's got definitely like the blazer jacket on, rolled up sleeves. Got the red-ish, purpley shirt, I guess. What color is that? Burgundy underneath there. Got the jeans on, and then he's got the runners, sneakers, white and gray. It's really good detail. I like the way he looks. And he's got his watch here too. That's pretty cool. The watch can come off too if you wanted to. But I like the little extra detail of the watch on there. So that is appreciated. What kind of articulation does he have? Let's take a look. So he bends down about that far with the head and back that far. You know what? I wish his head went down a little bit more. I feel like it could go a little further. I don't know why it doesn't. But his head goes back pretty far. And then side to side really well. And then all the way around. Because there's no hindrance there. And then the arms go up. Oh, really well. That's a really good movement with the arm there. And then you got the bicep swivel. And then you got single jointed elbows, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like single jointed. But you know what I appreciate? There are no pins in either of these figures. I just noticed that. There are no pins. So yeah, single jointed elbow. And then the wrist goes all the way around. And it can go... bends forward and back this way instead of up and down. So that's how this works. And then he does have, the blazer does get a little bit in the way, but he does have an ab crunch. So it can move forward and back that far. And then he does have a waist swivel as well too, right where the belt is. And then legs can do the splits. Again, the blazer does get in the way a little bit, which is totally fine because it is a softer, malleable plastic. It's not totally rigid or anything like that. And then you've got the thigh cut up here. And then you got the double jointed knees all the way up. There you go, kick his own butt. What kind of feet do we got going on? Oh, he's got a bit of a hindrance with the cuff of his pants, so he can't go all the way back for ballerina pose, and up as well too. He isn't quite as far up as Smythe did, but he can do pretty good ankle rock right there. Oh yeah, really good. Break that ankle. So he's got really good articulation. For the most part, he's not as good as a Spider-Man figure, but he'll do. He's in his street clothes, so maybe he can't move quite as well without his leotard on. So that's going to do it for the articulation for both figures. Next up, we'll take a look at them together and maybe compare some other figures with them in the line. Stay tuned. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of comparing here. As you can see, the two of them look really good together. They have really good dynamic. They don't have the cell shading like some of the other figures have. It's not necessary. I feel like they don't need to do cell shading for a lot of these figures. So one figure I'll throw in here as a comparison is obviously Peter Parker's boss, J. Jonah Jameson, who's, I think he fits in quite well. He's about the same size as Peter Parker there. Peter might be standing a little bit taller than him, but it's not terribly noticeable. And obviously this is obviously an adult Peter Parker, so I could see him being taller regardless. So then another one I'll throw in here is Peter Parker's love interest, or one of his love interests anyways. Here is Mary Jane Watson, MJ, and again, she fits in quite well. She's the more recent figure as well. It came with Green Goblin. She looks like the one from the cartoon, and I think she fits in really well too. So another one I will throw in here is a villain. I'll throw in Carnage, because he's just one of my favorites, and I like comparing him. He looks really cool. He kind of has cell shading. Yes, no, I don't know if the black really counts as cell shading, but again, I think he fits in quite well, and yeah, I like the way that these guys are looking together. Another one I'll throw in here is this. This is an actual cell shaded Spider-Man here. And he is about the same size as Peter Parker. I'd say maybe just a hair shorter, I think. On my camera here, it might look like he's a lot shorter, but in reality here, he's about the same size, maybe just slightly smaller. And it works pretty good. I think this one might work even a little bit better, is this one here, the black suit symbiote Spider-Man, which is, he's a little bit taller than the other Spider-Man is. And I think he maybe ranges about the same size as this Peter Parker, which maybe fares a little bit better. And then the last comparison is probably the most obvious one. Since I already have Peter Parker, here is another Peter Parker. This is definitely the more, I guess, comic book Peter Parker. And I have it with this mask on because I wanted to make it obvious that it's supposed to be a Peter Parker, because with the half Spider-Man mask and the half human mask, face, I mean, you can tell that he's like doing the spider sense thing. Whereas the other mask, he had those big Coke bottle glasses, which I wasn't a big fan of. It didn't really make me feel like that was Peter Parker. Whereas this one felt more like Peter Parker. But now that I have this guy this guy's kind of obsolete, really, because he doesn't really look at the version of Peter Parker from the cartoon anyway. So, but you're looking at the cameras. The cameras are, I believe they're the exact same camera, just, yeah, they're the same camera, just different coloring. That's what it is. So that totally works. That's totally fine. I agree with what they did there. There's no reason to get a whole new camera if it's just going to do the exact same thing. So that's going to do it for these unboxings of Smythe and Peter Parker. Hope you enjoyed it. I am CountryBoy9 with an underscore in there. Give me a like and a subscribe if you can, if you like what I do here. Also check out my other channel with my friends called Wasted Opinions. Those guys are awesome. But until next time, I gotta go save some good guys from the bad guys. Thwip thwip. And don't forget to check me out on Twitter, PSN, Twitch, and YouTube at CountryBoy9. That's with an underscore. Thanks for watching.